Well, hello there, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to be reading Pat a Cake Adventure, starring none other than Pat a Cake himself. I am your host, and I'm so excited to share this brand new story with all of you today. Let's get right into it. Once upon a time in the town of Cakeville, nestled between mountains of powdered sugar and rivers of chocolate, lived a little boy named Pat. Now Pat wasn't any ordinary boy. Oh no, Pat was a magical pat a cake who came to life whenever someone clapped their hands twice in his direction. He would spring to life with a giggle and a flap of his arms, ready for an adventure, and he had quite the imagination. One day while playing with his friends, a group of children gathered around Pat. They clapped their hands twice and shouted, "We want an adventure!" And just like that, Pat sprung to life. With a flourish, he announced, "Then an adventure we shall have." Pat led the children through the streets of Cakeville, over hills made of marzipan, and past houses with candy cane fences. Suddenly, they arrived at a clearing in the forest and gasped in surprise. Before them stood a magnificent gingerbread house. Its roof was covered in glistening candy, and gumdrops adorned its chimney. "Wow," breathed one of the children. "It looks so yummy." Just then, the front door creaked open and out stepped a witch stirring a bubbling cauldron. She cackled loudly, sending shivers down the children's spines. Pat quickly stepped in front of the children, puffing out his chest. "Don't be afraid," he said bravely. "I won't let her hurt you." The witch eyed Pat suspiciously. "And who might you be?" she asked in a voice like crackling fire. "My name is Pat," he replied, "and these are my friends. We were just exploring the forest when we stumbled upon your house. It looks so beautiful from the outside that we couldn't resist taking a peek." The witch snorted. "Exploring, eh? Well, that sounds mighty fine to me. Why don't you all come inside for a spot of tea?" Pat hesitated. Something about the witch's invitation didn't sit right with him. But before he could respond, the children had already rushed past him and into the house. Pat exchanged a worried glance with the witch, then sighed and followed the children inside. The interior of the house was just as enchanting as the exterior. The walls were lined with shelves filled with jars of colorful liquids that bubbled and fizzed. A fire crackled merrily in the hearth, casting dancing shadows on the walls. The children were in awe. "This place is amazing," whispered one of them, their eyes wide with wonder. "I can't believe how beautiful it is." The witch led the children to a table set for tea. The tablecloth was embroidered with whimsical designs, and the cups and saucers were crafted from spun sugar. "Now, my dears," said the witch, her voice suddenly sharp, "who wants some delicious mushroom stew?" The children looked at each other nervously. Mushrooms, eh? Well, that didn't sound too bad. So they all politely agreed. As the witch prepared the stew, Pat couldn't help but feel uneasy. He noticed that the jars on the shelves seemed to be watching him with their swirling contents, and the bubbling cauldron in the corner seemed to have a sinister glow. Just then, the witch turned around with a ladle in hand and a wicked grin on her face. "Here we go," she said, her eyes gleaming with mischief. "A nice hot bowl of my special mushroom stew." Pat quickly stepped forward, shielding the children. "No, thank you," he said politely. "I'm not hungry right now." The witch's smile vanished. "Oh, so you think you're too good for my delicious cooking, do you?" she snapped back. "Well, don't blame me when your tummy starts rumbling and you regret refusing such a treat." Pat only shook his head and smiled innocently. He knew that the witch wouldn't hurt the children intentionally, but he also knew that she was too proud and stubborn to simply apologize or admit she was wrong. Pat decided to take matters into his own hands. "Why don't you and me have a little contest?" he suggested. "If I can guess what's in these jars, you can feed us whatever you like. But if I'm wrong, then you'll let us leave without any fuss." The witch thought for a moment, then cackled loudly. "Very well, Pat, you've got yourself a deal." Pat beamed and turned to the jars. "All right," he said, squinting his eyes. "Let's begin." One by one, Pat examined the jars. Some contained shimmering liquids that sparkled like jewels, while others had thick, cloudy substances that seemed to ooze and squirm. Pat took a deep breath and tried his best to concentrate. He needed to use all his senses and his knowledge to figure out what was inside each jar. After carefully examining the first jar, Pat confidently declared, "This one is filled with sparkling water from the top of Rainbow Falls." The witch nodded approvingly. "Correct," she said with a smile. "On to the next one." This time Pat hesitated. The jar in front of him seemed to shift and change like a mirage. He pondered. This one is a tough one. He racked his brain trying to remember where he had seen something similar. Finally, he exclaimed, I've got it. This is dragon's breath, isn't it? The very same one that Aunt Ruby used to make her spicy chili. The witch's smile widened. Well done, Pat. You're doing great. Pat's confidence grew with each correct guess. He identified jars filled with unicorn tears, pixie dust, and even mermaid scales. The witch watched with amusement, occasionally throwing in a tricky one to see if Pat would stumble. But he surprised her with his vast knowledge of magical creatures and their habitats. Finally, there was only one jar left. It was unlike the others, filled with a thick, dark liquid that seemed to pulse with an eerie light. Pat took a step back, feeling a chill run down his spine. Oh, he said nervously. I think I need a little more time to think this one through. The witch leaned closer, her eyes gleaming with triumph. Are you sure you can't figure it out, Pat? After all the other guesses you've made, I thought you'd be able to handle this one. Pat forced himself to look back into the jar. He had to think fast. The witch's tone had changed, and he could sense that she was becoming impatient. He racked his brain, searching for any clue, any memory that could help him identify the mysterious liquid. Then suddenly, he remembered a story his grandmother had told him about a magical spring deep in the enchanted forest. According to the legend, the spring's water had the power to grant wishes, but it was guarded by a fearsome creature that lurked in the shadows. Could this be the answer? Pat took a deep breath and slowly began to speak. I think, he said hesitantly, that this may be the legendary water from the Wishing Spring. The witch gasped, her eyes wide with disbelief. How did you possibly know? She exclaimed. But how did you know what was inside that jar? Pat shrugged, trying to look modest. Well, you see, my grandmother once told me a tale about the Wishing Spring and its mystical powers. She described how the water shimmered with an otherworldly glow, just like this. And since no one else had offered this answer yet, I thought it must be true. The witch stared at Pat in amazement. She couldn't believe that he had solved every riddle and impressed her with his knowledge and wit. She had planned to trick the children with her magical concoctions, but Pat's cleverness and charm had turned the tables on her. Defeated and ashamed, the witch slumped onto a nearby stool. Pat, noticing her dejected state, approached her with a kind smile. Don't be sad, he said gently. We all make mistakes. Perhaps we can all learn from this experience and do better next time. His words seemed to awaken something within the witch. She wiped away her tears and straightened her crooked hat. You're right, Pat, she said with newfound determination. I let my pride get the better of me, and I'm sorry for that. She turned to the children who had been watching the entire exchange with wide eyes. I'm sorry I scared you all and tried to trick you with my magic. From now on, I promise to use my powers for good and to be a friend to all of you. The children cheered, overjoyed by the witch's change of heart. Pat, beaming with pride, knew that his quick thinking and kindness had saved the day once again. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the gingerbread house, it was time for Pat and the children to return home. The witch, now with a warm smile on her face, walked with them to the door. Thank you, Pat, she said, her voice filled with gratitude. You've shown me the true meaning of friendship, and I'm a better witch for knowing you. Pat blushed, feeling the warmth of her appreciation. Oh, it was my pleasure, dear witch, he replied. I'm just glad we could all be friends. The children waved goodbye to the witch and hurried off down the path, eager to share their exciting adventure with their families. As for Pat, he knew that no matter where he went or what challenges he faced, he could always rely on his quick wit and compassion to guide him. And so, with a final wave to the witch, Pat skipped along, eager to see what new adventures awaited him in the magical world beyond.